and detected all these phenomena. For Jan Bauer, this book became his Bible. He studies it day after day. A photo of Jonathan eating currywurst at the airport restaurant, for example. Imagine the title, The Modest. But we realize that something of Hitler's and Hoffman's strategies is not at work in these photos. Jonathan making the Hitler salute, but with a cowboy hat inscribed with the name Adolf. Or here, robed in a red showy dress, another one acting on stage. Or here with an octopus on his arm. Some time ago, a journalist of a big German newspaper, the Süddeutsche Zeitung, wrote about that gesture, said it is for certain that if an artist makes a Hitler salute on stage, this is a good sign that he is not a Nazi in reality. But why is Jonathan doing it all the time? Okay, shock. But who is really shocked by this besides old ladies and correct historians? German television is full of films of Hitler making this gesture all the time. You can find one every day. Usually wrapped as historical soap operas, someone telling us how bad this guy was, but in the end these pictures are stronger than the subtext. It's a certain irony that we bandy the same old propaganda with these broadcasts. There are no private shots of this man, not one. So we follow this picture policy like the people in the 1930s and 40s in Germany. Another example. When we wanted to use this fantastic photo of Jonathan behind the bust of Karl Marx, the team of the Marx House wanted to cancel the publication. By the way, the money came from an edition that Jonathan made for these purposes. Jonathan was diplomatic, but the fact is that you cannot invite one of Germany's most provocative artists and think he will behave reservedly. In the end, we used this one here. You can say, okay, double Hitler salute, but you might also remember this photo here. The Pope saluting to his audience, often to more than 100,000 people. So Jonathan and Jan started to look at this picture strategy too. The Pope likes to pose only for the cameras, showing his back to the believers. Why is he doing this? Anyway, this is useful for the purposes of the dictatorship of art. This is a photo from Jonathan's performance in Beijing. Another thing is that Jan Bauer is still there when all the other photographers have gone. The performance is over and only the red top press stays if invited. Not so with Jan and Jonathan. The dictatorship of art is a full-time job. Sleeping is also part of it. Jonathan calls it wegpennen, to sleep something away, which is difficult to translate. So we learned that Jonathan and Jan use the whole apparatus of the propaganda of photography. But this is not meant as a critique. They use it as the best propaganda ever invented, and they use it for the purposes of the dictatorship of art, which is of course more than just another political movement. Jonathan is not the new Joseph Beuys. The dictatorship of art is not meant as another collaboration between art and the socio-political sphere. The dictatorship of art has nothing to do with politics. It is the end of the whole political sphere. There's a concrete date when art will come to power. 2023, 100 years after Hitler's coup in Munich. You might laugh and think, art will never govern us like that. But we laugh and say, look at the situation of humankind in the beginning of the 21st century. We were ruled by kings, the church, fascism, communism, capitalism, democracy, the Enlightenment, even anarchism, and mixtures of all of them. So which direction should govern us in the future? None of them. All this is nostalgia. I didn't understand Liam Gillick when he said in his Berlin statement, I'm a European socialist. I admire Liam and his work, but that's not the case. Socialism failed, so why should one cling to socialism and say, well, it was not done correctly in the past? It was done correctly, and it was a catastrophe for many people in the world. Same with Nicolas Bourriaud and relational aesthetics. Modernity failed, and also the enlightened parts of it. Animals ruling us would be an alternative. We haven't had that before, or art itself. Not another artist or art movement, that's important. Here's another funny photo of Hitler with a fawn, but also this photo is very precise. Title could be, "The Führer gives power to a fawn." Or, "I'm not able to rule mankind. In reality, I'm a brutal dictator, so please, can you do my job?" Jonathan uses this too. You may say he's a human being too, that's right. But he always stresses that he is the aunt of art, that art plays with him. Art is metabolism. By the way, since he was a child, Jonathan called himself the Zwischenführer. Bad translation would be leader in between. We are used to misinterpreting this photo. Hitler exploits a young German girl for his purposes. But maybe it was the other way around. Hitler wanted to give power to a Lolita. He himself was in phases a total Lolita, like Marquis de Sade or Oscar Wilde, Gabriele D'Annunzio, Martin Heidegger, John Ruskin, or Ezra Pound. They all were metabolic machines until we took them from their stages. You know that Hitler wanted to become an artist. We are used to saying he was really bad in art. That's right. The Chapmans say, bad artist, good genocider. Of course, there's no direct correlation between the failing artist and the brutal dictator. But Hitler also was a star on stage. You can see this on the photos that I show to you. Not painting, but play acting was his area. All problems begin when you confuse the stage with reality. My last conversation with Jonathan was about his passion for pawn shops. He's not searching for satisfaction there. He could not find pornography in pawn shops, only toys, fantastic pictures of